Hey traders, checking out on the cryptocurrency space. So a pretty uneventful weekend, but then into the end of the weekend as the weekly candle was closing, bulls showed up in a big way. We have a lot of fear from Friday and markets being alleviated, and that's a good sign for the crypto bulls. Let's see what is needed for the bulls to prove control from here on the daily charts. So Bitcoin, a very impressive couple day bounce here, and we had our standard bear break with zero follow through. If you've been trading cryptocurrency for a while, you know that happens often, where it's an initial flush down, stop losses are triggered, fear response, and then a slow grind, and every lower low from there lacks follow through and results in a quick bounce to the upside. And it happened a couple times, but the time was a fresh low, zero follow through, and V-shaped bounce. And that V-shaped bounce was a bit of a predecessor leading into the stock market futures open. So we just had 8 hours of straight up, not even a trend change on the hourly, and stock futures opened right here on this green candle. And then stock futures went up, and that helped with another leg up. But it was essentially the cryptocurrency space front running the bull move in stock futures opening. And we have a big day out there in the stock market. Pretty much that very, very short-lived COVID knee-jerk reaction to fear has been alleviated, and big day for bulls. So that's helping crypto in general. You can see the weekly time frame. We just barely closed over EMA12 by the close of that candle. And again, it was that 5 hour span, because if you go to 1 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, we're looking to close at the low of the weekly candle and below EMA12 support. And next thing you know, 5 hours later, into the close of the weekly candle, we've got a big long lower wick and a close above EMA12. So that's a good recovery and good save for the bulls. Worst case scenario, we're going to go over all scenarios. Worst case scenario for the bulls would be a confirmed daily trend change, which we still haven't topped out yet. So we're looking for a top of this bounce. Anything under 59.5 is just a daily lower high. That being said, we know it's a powerful enough bounce that we're going to be scouting a daily higher low to be the most likely scenario next time we top out. The question that we have in the short term is, do we top out under that daily resistance to look for the daily higher low, or do we break daily resistances, 60,000 right behind it, creating more space, and then scout the daily higher low? So that's what we're watching in the short term. The 4 hour uptrend is going to be a bit of our guide, but we're looking for a daily trend change back to the bulls. Bulls are going to be scouting a daily higher low for an entry. They're going to be watching for first hourly oversold conditions as a potential guide to help time that entry. If we confirm the daily trend change, the last thing the bulls want to see is no follow through, because that opens the door for a potential weekly lower high and lower low. So I'm calling the low of Friday for stocks our fear bottom. And we can use that for crypto as well. The low of Friday is our fear bottom. If the fear bottom holds, good sign for the cryptocurrency space, good sign for stocks. If the fear bottom breaks, definite red flag. That needs to be the low for the bulls to have confidence that this bull run is going to keep running. Otherwise, monthly consolidation will be underway, because that's now the low of our month. And this monthly candle is about to close in a day. And once it does, if that fear low breaks, monthly consolidation is underway. And monthly consolidation is certainly a much different market environment than bull control. This is the last time we had monthly consolidation. Lost massive downside and then just slow grind down. And again, it was the same scenario where the bear break saw zero follow through into the bulls showing up. Same exact pattern. This was just on the hourly time frame. Look at how similar this looks. This is the hourly chart of what we just went through. This is the daily chart of monthly consolidation. It's the same thing. So you get familiar with those patterns the more you see them. So watching for a top of the move to be set. Once it is set, we scout a daily higher low. We look for the bulls to confirm a daily trend change back in their favor. New 4 hour support is 56.7 thousand. Anything above that level is another 4 hour higher low. Again, we have to lose the 4 hour uptrend for daily consolidation to be shaping up. Nice move for the bulls here. We just had a significant breakout, and you could look to perhaps Biden was speaking at that time, and stocks ripped as well. So that was 11:45 a.m. And again, this is Biden speaking and the response to the market to Biden soothing their fears. So definitely some correlation there. But 4-hour uptrend, short-term guide, daily, needs a trend change. A lot of bulls are going to be scouting daily higher lows. A lot of bulls were looking for either daily oversold conditions. I was in a position where I was either waiting for daily oversold or for bulls to prove something to me. This is bulls proving something to me, so now I'm going to be scouting an entry next time we see daily consolidation. So will a lot of other people. Dominance chart, not much going on. It did stand out that the Bitcoin bulls led that leg up that we just saw. It's been a while since we've seen the dominance go up in cryptocurrency strength. It definitely happens, but it's usually short periods of time. It's not a consistent pattern, but something to keep an eye on. And again, the dominance chart, really, we're looking longer term levels for some kind of clarity, because if we don't break 39.56 or 44.62, then nothing's really going on. That's pretty much how I'm viewing things with where we stand right now. Did take a trade on MAR. This is a nice laggard move. So say you missed the Bitcoin move over the weekend. Darn, I wish I had a bullish position. I was too busy stuffing my face with turkey. MARA today, look at the low of Friday. The low of Friday is 48.05. We dump all morning when the bell rings. We get to 5-minute oversold conditions testing the low of Friday, and we double bottom at that level. I missed that double bottom entry, but I saw this 5-minute bounce and said that's big enough for me to scout a 5-minute higher low. So as soon as this 5-minute higher low was shaping up, I made my entry and I said, okay, I'm using that level as my stop, because that's either our 5-minute higher low and we're going to change this trend, or it's not, and I'm going to stop out and we're going to test that low again. And so, trying to find my right thing here. Nope, wrong one. Anyways, made an entry for that higher low and sold half in the low 50s on the bull break, and now I will potentially swing half if the Bitcoin bulls can convince me to, keeping in mind that we will need to see a confirmed hourly trend change to the MARA bulls, but I'm scouting MARA and other crypto names for weekly higher lows, and that inside bar just held, so watching very closely, and we can look at coin, looking for a weekly higher low, tons of space for it to form. HUT, weekly looks just fine, so the crypto stocks scouting weekly higher lows. Ethereum, great bounce. Bear break with 0 follow through. And actually, we didn't break the initial fear low. We held it. Significant bounce. Anything under 45.55 is a lower high. But again, there's lots of space now for a higher low to form next time we consolidate. It's just a question of, do we reject from resistance or break it before that daily consolidation begins? The weekly is still holding EMA12, which means I am still a bull overall. Again, this is my gauge. It's more clear for me than Bitcoin. There are some coins that have me a bit cautious. There's a lot of coins that are forming the potential for monthly equilibriums, but they have smaller caps than Ethereum. So I'm looking at names like Ethereum, Binance, and Sol to be my guides for showing me bull strength. I've got a handful of alts that are showing relative weakness, possibly shaping up monthly lower highs. VET, LINK are just a few of them. But the one point in favor of the bulls, it's larger market cap names that are standing out stronger. And again, the crypto names, their weekly timeframes are fine as well. So I've been a little bit iffy back and forth after this fear flush and, okay, where do we stand from here? Being patient, give me more clarity, and a confirmed daily trend change back to the bulls in Bitcoin will certainly go a long way to giving that clarity back to the bulls. But I am still hopeful for the bulls as long as these weekly Ethereum and crypto stocks and Binance, as long as these charts stay strong with weekly EMA12 support. So again, I will be interested in Ethereum and Bitcoin entering some more swing positions next daily consolidation, hourly oversold, stops under the low for new swing re-entries, scaling back into some positions that I exited initially before this weakness started. ETH BTC double top is notable. The last thing the bulls want to see here is a break of 7409 because that would lose the daily uptrend. Again, these next 2 weeks are very key because there's two very different scenarios where we either continue this equilibrium or we break out. And the last thing the bulls want to see is a lower high because that could mean that we tighten within this range for another month plus. But we still have a daily uptrend, so we're not worried about that at this point. If we lose the daily uptrend, bulls are going to start to have a little bit of concern about the possibility that it's shaping up for that lower high. No concern yet, but watching. Sol USDT, bear break without a lack of follow through. So weekly time frame, another bounce off EMA12, still holding strong. Daily trend change back to bulls needed. Big bounce last time, failed to change the daily trend. I definitely would have anticipated a higher low was the most likely scenario there, and it didn't form. So we have to be cautious for that. Anything under 240 is a lower high. And bulls need a big enough bounce for when we top out to confirm the trend change. I might look for a Sol entry. I don't know if I've traded Sol ever. Probably have once or twice, but I will look for a Sol daily high or low, and I will use 180 as my stop. Let's see if we got a falling wedge. Got something in my throat. Thanks for bearing with me. Be watching that as a downtrending resistance line. As far as support, there's only really one. Well, we got a couple touches there. That's worth paying attention to, this channel. It's less of a falling wedge and more of a channel. Sol BTC, still holding daily support. Weekly, still very healthy. So that's a good sign for the bulls. BTC pairing showing more strength in the US dollar pairing. Always welcome for a bull. BNB USDT, daily higher low, held the fear low. We kept these daily higher lows going. That's very impressive. Anything under 658 is a daily lower high, but again, bigger picture, weekly EMA12, weekly inside bar, and this is definitely one of our stronger names, and the weekly is a potential setup for a new all-time high. Definitely positioned well. Burden is on the bears to screw up this longer-term healthy setup. If we fail 658, we'll look for a tightening 12-hour range. We'll stick to the daily. We'll look for a lower high, but then a higher low. And again, bulls playing higher lows are not getting stopped out because we keep forming them. Let's see if Binance has all-time highs in the cards before the end of the year. Sand USDT, daily lower high potentially shaping up. So we set the higher low right off EMA12, hourly oversold conditions, beautiful entry. And a nice bounce in result of that. But a lot of space here. So high, low. And now we're watching for the possibility of a lower high. 4-hour time frame, still in an uptrend. If we lose the 4-hour uptrend, daily lower high is set. And we then look to 576 as the must-hold level. Keep an eye out for clues on the BTC pairing. It's already showing us a little bit more weakness. If the BTC pairing breaks its daily support before the US dollar pairing, we can anticipate we will very likely see the US dollar break support as well. Watching for momentum to potentially be lost in these names. We know how the crypto space goes. Focus, lead bulls, they run, and then we see that focus shift elsewhere as weekly consolidation takes place. So when you see a chart like this, yes, it's possible bulls keep control, but we look at this chart and we know weekly consolidation will not surprise us in the slightest the next time it happens. So we have to prepare for that as a possibility, as a part of our game plan. So just a bit cautious now that we're shaping up like this. If we keep setting the daily higher lows and keep holding EMA12, there's nothing to worry about. But again, just keeping an eye out for the possibility that bulls take profits. We see weekly consolidation here, and then we see profits head over into a name that is positioned well after weekly consolidation, like Ethereum or somebody else, to try and see another leg up. Mana USD, same thing, looking for a daily lower high, anything under 591. BTC pairing, a little bit weaker. We're starting to see a little bit of fading. Look at this triple top. So here's a triple top of resistance. What did the US dollar pairing do? Broke resistance. There's a clue in the BTC pairing. It's showing us some relative weakness starting to form. So scouting daily lower highs in these metaverse names. I have a curse now with Mana is my frustrating name because twice now I've played these daily higher lows off EMA12 support, and twice I have had a time constraint where I know I have to leave the computer and I want an entry. So I make an entry, I place a stop with some wiggle room, and then I stop out right before the low. And really the only alternative would be canceling life plans, which I'm not going to do, to change things to structure so I can trade. And the other thing I could do is not put a stop, which I'm not going to do. So it's frustrating because I had an entry, in the 470s here. So essentially my entry was Entered on this consolidation, wanted to see a back test and hold of this EMA support before the bull break. So I entered here, placed stop with some wiggle room, and then we ended up dropping down and triggering it before the bull move took place. That's just the way it goes. And again, if I want to cancel all my plans and become a trading hermit, I won't get stopped out in that scenario because I'll be able to actively trade and manage it, but I'm not becoming a hermit yet, maybe in another few years. So congrats to the bulls that did get it, and have to keep the daily higher lows. We know weekly consolidation will be inevitable eventually. All about the daily higher lows with looking for clues on the BTC pairings. I did get a SHIB entry, so it wasn't all bad. 12-hour falling wedge, I've been keeping an eye on this one. Scouting a weekly higher low. Weekly EMA12, month of pullback, tons of space for a weekly higher low, and a 12-hour falling wedge. So that was one thing where I said, Chris and I, wedges are the bomb. He's been adding SHIB, and his strategy is buying into the weakness, selling a little bit into the bounce. It's the same strategy that I use. So I grabbed some SHIB at 383. I would have added a second position on a new low if it lacked follow through, but now up almost 10%, and that helps the sting of getting stopped out of mana. But what I need for this to be the break I'm looking for is a break of 48 here. And if that takes place, then our weekly higher low will be shaping up. So bulls still have proving to do. Decent start. XTZ USDT, same thing. Look at this 12-hour falling wedge. This has been a lot more prolonged. Months of pullback and finally shaping up the weekly bounce with this bull break. We'll need to confirm a daily trend change, but a shift in momentum after being a lead bear for a very long time. XTZ BTC, bull move as well. Weekly time frame. Again, looking for a meaningful bounce to try and take place. Let's see if XTZ, both pairings, have to confirm daily trend changes. Anything under 9.7 is just a lower high here. So bulls have to prove it. But they're certainly getting our attention today as XTZ goes to the top of the leaderboard as far as the most green name on the list of what I'm watching. So that's where we stand, patiently watching for daily consolidation before looking for any entries from here, watching for hourly oversold. But bigger picture, weekly time frame still keeping strong. And again, a big sigh of relief now that the broader market is alleviating some of the fear that was present on Friday. Feel free to ask any questions, do good things, and I appreciate you watching. This is where turkeys sleep.